You're watching Service Drive, exclusively on CBT News.
Welcome to another edition of Service Drive right here at cbtnews.com. Today we're joined by Don Andreas, who is the author of Why Auto Service Departments Fail to Grow. He's also the owner of Auto SCT Consulting and Training, to walk us through his recommendations for managers as we enter into this new year and how service departments can refine their vision. So thank you so much, Don, for joining us once again on the show.
Always a pleasure to join you, Jim. Thank you for the invite, and excited to have a little conversation today.
Yeah, great. We're looking forward to it. So we've come off another banner year in the auto business, right? And of course, fixed ops is right there at the forefront of every dealer's mind right now. It's been cranking out phenomenal profits and doing great things. However, as you know, during times like this, Don, I don't have to tell you, sometimes when business is so good, bad habits can be created, right? So,
yes.
So this past year is no different. So talk to us about that. Is it time? It's the time of the year, I should say, that owners and general managers are kind of asking for 2026 forecasts from their service department managers and fixed ops directors. You know, what should service department managers be focusing on when it comes to growth and preparing, those forecasts?
Yeah, it's funny. This is a conversation that's come up quite a bit now in the last month and a half, 2 months, as we're preparing for 2026. I've got service directors, I've got fix-up guys reaching out and saying, hey, they're looking for more growth this year. They're looking for a bigger, and yet I'm being challenged with sometimes less car sales. So I'm doing less used car reconditioning. So my internal work isn't quite as much.
Good point.
And my warranty work at times is also falling off. We don't necessarily have that rash of recalls like we did and we counted on. So how am I going to get some of that growth? And I really always start with the same thing. I say, before we talk about forecasting, let's talk about vision. What is it you're trying to get accomplished in 2026 that distinguishes you in the marketplace, right? Yeah. I think that's important. Yeah. But also for your employees, that they see and understand, what is the vision? What are we trying to talk about? So I talk a lot about vision before I get into forecasting.
Okay, so let's dive right in. What should vision look like in a service department?
Well, first of all, you want to make sure that the employees understand what leadership is trying to get accomplished. In other words, we can't have leadership decide they want to do this and leave the employees out of the equation. They're looking for, what is 2026 going to look like for my family, for my income? Yeah. And so the sooner you get them to understand the vision for 2026 and include them in it, now they're in. Now they've picked the right place to work, and they feel good about coming to work every day. Visions can be something like, okay, this year we're going to really concentrate on customer engagement. We've got all these tools, we've got all these things to assist us in allowing the work order and the repair order to flow through the repair process. And all those types of tools are great, but what is our level of engagement? So now let's break down, if we're going to have a vision of increased customer engagement, what are some of the strategies for that would be a good starting place, again, before we do actual forecasting? Yeah,
for sure. Can a service department rely on business as usual for 2026? I mean, I know a lot of service departments failed to plan. Maybe mine did when I was running dealerships. I'd like to think that we didn't, but I know in my heart of hearts, what happens is one year just kind of moves right into the next. And before you know it, you're at the end of the first quarter and you're like, wait a minute, when did we really sit down and plan an attack for this new year? What are the forecasts? How are we going to get there? How many new techs do we need? How many ROs do we need to, or what's the percentage of increase in ROs, whether it be customer paid or warranty or what have you, internal, as you mentioned, with used cars. There's not a whole lot of planning and thinking that goes into that. Now, I know I'm painting with a broad brush, so for those of you that do an incredible job in that area, Don and I don't want to blame you for something that you're not guilty of. However, there are those others that are going, yeah, Jim's right, I haven't spent enough time in this area. So what are one or two strategies advisors and technicians can focus on to get the growth that they want, to satisfy upper management?
Yeah, great great understanding of the difficulty in a simple statement, right? Hey, let's make sure 26 is bigger. And now suddenly, there are service departments that are really well structured. They have a plan. They've been meeting already. But unfortunately, that's probably a minority. There are more dealers that allow the doors to open up and they let the day come to them and they get what they get that day. So for them to try to project what is 2026 going to look like when they live in the moment, and that's the way they've done business, unfortunately, that's when it turns out there's a lot of other factors, that headwinds, for no better term, that really are affecting their ability to have business as usual.
Right.
So what are some real strategies in that respect? Well, clearly, we want to make sure our writers, our advisors, are literally prepared better today than ever before. They know what's coming in. They know what they want to talk about with that client because, again, we're talking about a customer that needs to get up to speed on things that need to get accomplished in their vehicle. They don't know. And the more the advisor is engaged in, one, his level of preparation, and more importantly, during the write-up process, that always lends itself to now more customer pay growth. We love that, right? That's the ability to really profit better than warranty, better than internal. And then the technician side. We have to do a quality MPI. The VMPI, that video MPI today, is a powerful tool. If you're not embracing it, I think you have to get there because now customers are seeing their car. And now with the relationship that the advisor reaches out and said, did you get a chance to watch a video? Let's talk about that. Here's some things we got to get accomplished on your vehicle. And these are that level of engagement that we have to work on. So we've got to have a technician do a quality multi-point inspection to put the writer in a position to be successful. And then we have got to work on that relationship building techniques, word tracks, everything that you would do with sales, you do with service advisors on the service side too, that now the customer's listening. They're not being pitched something. They're actually listening to what we see on your vehicle, what we need to get accomplished. And the good news is we can get it done on this visit because I know how tough it is to get your car in here. Type of word tracks that really will put them in a great position in 2026 to grow, not just survive and deal with the headwinds, but grow.
That's right. That is the key. And you mentioned earlier there may be a slowdown in terms of new car sales and perhaps even used car sales and less work coming in through internal work because of the lower number of used cars coming in to retail. Which always has an impact on fixed ops recon or what have you. However, with the average age of a vehicle growing every single day on the road,
higher and higher,
right? Those people that have got those vehicles, they got to get those cars serviced. Those cars need a lot more servicing than in past years. So there's huge opportunity out there, right?
Yeah, you'll love this. Jim, I normally do some type of a repair order analysis as part of my 2-day analysis that I might do if a dealer invites me in to take a look at their store, right? So I'm grabbing my 50 repair orders, 100 repair orders, and I'm just looking through the quality of the multi-point inspection. But one of the things that I will look at is the mileage, right? And I'm going to write that down. In the past, it's always been 68, 70,000, 72,000 miles was the average mileage. So for everybody that came in with 5,000 miles, somebody came in with 120.
Sure.
I was at a store just recently. The average mileage of those 50 ROs was 93,000.
Wow. Has that
93,000.
Oh my gosh.
So it sent the message for two things. One, they're definitely keeping the cars longer.
Yep.
But they still value the dealership. They still value the dealership to bring the vehicle back, get the oil change done, get it maintained. And it turns out these people appreciate the information. Here's some things we got to get accomplished. Here's some things that are starting to show some real wear, suspension components. And so it's a great time to be in fixed operations. It's a great time to be in the dealer world. Just make sure we're really on our game.
That's right. That's right. We haven't even touched in this conversation on AI. That is a conversation for a whole nother show. We haven't really touched on mobile service. Let's talk about that for just 1 second. What is your advice when a dealer calls you and says, Don, what's your take on mobile service? Is that something that I should be considering? Should I be doing it? Should I be moving in that direction?
I've seen too many success stories for to have it dismissed. There's too much growth for it to be dismissed, right? Ed Roberts, good friend of mine, a coworker that I have a great relationship with, is as good of an example. Jim Sabino are good examples of people that figured out. Now, here's the deal, and this was a big transition. We don't change oil on these mobile units is our only means of income. We don't just do some open recalls as our only means of income on these mobile units. No, we have qualified technicians, master technicians getting in the vehicle, heading out, diagnosing, repairing vehicles there at the customer's location, work or home. And only if they get into a problem. Only if they get into something where they had anticipated certain parts to be used because they're that good at what they do. They had them on the truck. They guessed, but maybe there was an additional part. So now they call the dealership. They send out a car. They take that vehicle back to the dealership, and the mobile unit goes on to its next stop. It's amazing how simplistic and yet powerful some planning will do in the mobile service. And guess what happens? That customer that maybe is 50 miles away, 30 miles away, is driving there to buy their next vehicle because of that great experience.
That's exactly right. And as I've said before in conversations with your colleagues in the industry, how powerful is it when the cul-de-sac or the street you live on all of a sudden sees, wait a minute, how come the Smiths have got a mobile service coming to their home to service that vehicle? I mean, who doesn't want that to be the case, right? And now you've affected maybe, the possibility of sales around that particular customer's house, right?
Yeah, so now I'm buying that manufacturer's vehicle next time because I can't believe it. Those neighbors talk.
That's right.
Never, ever think they don't talk. And by the way, if it's a positive experience, they brag.
Oh, yeah. They're
going to brag about that.
That's right. Not just the brand, but also the specific dealer that took care of that customer.
100%.
Right?
Yep, that's plastered all over the side of that unit.
That's right.
And so in the past, they might have stuck with a particular manufacturer because of the loyalty of it. They've had success with it. But boy, they start getting treatment like that. Who has hung their hat on something like that for 20 years is Lexus. Lexus gives a great experience in their service drive. And so they, believe it or not, they're buying and leasing another Lexus because of that great experience. Well, it turns out mobile service is taking that now to a whole nother level.
That's right. That's right. Complete this sentence for me. I wish my service department managers or fixed operations directors would do this every day. What would you want them to do?
It's so, that's a great question. So please spend time seeing what's coming in and then having that conversation. You have to gather up that troops and say, here's what today looks like. Let's have a plan. Now everybody's on the same page. There's nothing more frustrating for a technician to be in the middle of diagnosing something and the dispatcher or the writer walks up and says, hey, can you stop what you're doing and just bang out this quick recall? Because why? Because people got surprised. The advisor got surprised, didn't want to say no to a customer. All this lack of planning puts a writer in a difficult situation to try to appease a customer. So guess what he does? He walks in the shop and he creates the stress, the chaos that now could have been a highly productive day, suddenly big interruption. So service directors, service managers, understand, never open the doors and let the day come to you. Please have a plan, which means we're going to do a high level of preparation.
That's great. That's great advice, and I couldn't agree more. That definitely could add tremendous impact, not just to the bottom line, but also to the culture in the store. And you're all reading off the same sheet of music as you said. So that's fantastic. Don Andres, who is the author and owner and just an all-around good guy, knows service. Here's the guy that you want in your corner. If you're a dealer out there listening to this conversation this morning and saying, we need to really focus on our fixed ops department for 2026, Don's probably the guy you want to call. But that's why we love having him in here. He's also the author, as I mentioned, of the book which we're showing right now on the screen, Why Auto Service Departments Fail to Grow. You're just, by the way, you're a click away from getting your copy, where you have a link right below this video that you're watching. Click it and it will take you right over to get your copy. In addition, by the way, Don just told me that it is also, you've got it now in audio. I happen to love audio books. I'm not a big reader per se, but now that, and Don is the one that narrates it to you. So I think that's a big plus. I'm going to get my copy in audio version, that is. So I'm one of those readers that I read, like 3 pages, and I go back and I go, what did I just read? I got to reread them again. So I'm better off putting it on my commute in the morning or on the way home or what have you. And I've read a lot of books that way, or listened to a lot of books.
I got wore out for not having it, right? Now, my original goal was I wanted you to read it with a highlighter and highlighting certain things. It's an easy read. It's a short read, 95 pages. So I thought that was my intentions. It turns out people do need that that audio version to be in the car and glean some of that same stuff. So thank you for that. The book has been well received. And has opened up a lot of doors for me in the last couple of years. So thank you for that.
No question about it. And for you, Generation Z out there, when he mentioned highlighters, those are things we used to use to highlight the sentences that we used.
Did I just expose my age?
No, me too. I use them all the time. And my kids are like, "What are you doing? What are you doing right now?" So anyway. Enough about that. But Don, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Very much appreciate it. Look forward to our next time together.
Thank you, Jim, so much. Have a great holiday.
You as well.
And we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye now.
Bye.
Thanks for watching Service Drive, exclusively on CBT News.